All right, good morning and welcome back. Um, Today we're going to continue where we left off on Tuesday. On Tuesday, you've learned how to just create basic shapes and draw lines on AutoCAD, and we have started working on our in-class exercise. Uh, we created or we set up the layers based on the requirement on our exercise. We have to create the layers for the grid lines, annotations, wall center lines, walls, windows, doors, and furniture. So our next step is uh, we can customize these layers because if the layers have the same style, like all the lines are just gray or white, and all of the lines are continuous, no dash dots style, um, it will still be quite difficult to distinguish which components belong to which layer. So after this, we're going to customize the layers that we have set up on Tuesday. Then we will start developing our floor plan. So it's not going to be a very complicated one. It's just a 40 by 30 square foot. And then we're going to apply a tile block on the floor plan that we've developed. Okay. So just now open your AutoCAD web, and once you are on the website and you're logged in, you'll notice that the project that you've been working on Tuesday will show up on your most recent files. And you can just click that, and it's going to open your previous project. Okay. Now, once you have opened your project, just don't forget to open the layers. It's going to be on the sidebar to the left of your screen, and you'll see the layers that you've developed. If you see there's a padlock on the layer name or next to the layer name, that means the layer is locked. You can draw anything on that layer, but you cannot customize the style of that layer. So if you see that, just click on that padlock. Now we can modify the layer. So now let's talk about customizing the layer. So when you click a layer, underneath it, there's a layer properties. So this layer properties is going to determine how the line and the thickness of the line is going to look like anytime you're drawing a line or an object within that layer. So for example, for grid lines, they're typically drawn with, let's say, dash dot or dash style. So if you click on the layer properties next to line type, it will it will bring down a drop down menu, and there are several line type style that you can choose. So I'm going to choose dash dot, and then I'm going to try drawing just a simple vertical line. And while it's not directly visible, that's probably because the uh, line weight or line scale is too small. Okay, so if the line type is not visible, then you can go to the properties window. That's weird. And then you can check the line type. If it is not dash dot, um, you'll have to change that again, and then try increasing that probably like 10. And now you can start seeing how the line type change. So again, on the layers, you can customize the line type and the line weight of the line. But if that doesn't change the line style of the object that you're drawing, then you might need to select the line that you've drawn and go to the properties window, which is just above the layers group. And with that line selected, you can inspect the line type and the line type scale. So if it is not showing the line type that you want, just click on that menu or drop down menu, choose the line type, and if the line type is still not very visible like this one, then you might need to bring the line type scale up, maybe 10 or 20 for that line type to be visible. So typically when you're drawing grid lines, it will be like in a dash dot or just a dash format. So that's going to help you with it first, developing the layout. Second, to pinpoint or using that grid lines as a reference when you are referencing an object on the floor plan. Let's say that you have a column on grid line or grid lines A1, so you can tell that there's something wrong on the column on grids A1 whenever you're on the job site, especially if you're talking with the superintendent or probably the uh, someone that's going to be on site. So feel free to modify the layer properties. For some reason, it's not really showing the line type, so you still need to modify the line type once you have drawn the object on that layer. And of course, if you want to make the layer color different, you can also do that. So for wall, I guess this should be that color. It's going to make the grid lines, wall, and the wall center line different. And everything else is just plain white. And right now, there's still nothing on our workspace. We only set up a layer. Any questions so far? So if you change the color of the layer, it will affect the object that you're drawing. But for some reason, the line type for that layer is not going to affect the object that you're drawing on that layer. Okay. Let's continue. Once we have set up the layers, we're going to start drawing the element. We can start either with the wall center line or the grid line. So when we are drawing walls in, uh, in AutoCAD, we can draw it from the center line first. So, for example, this is our floor plan with the wall center line. Then, once we are done with the wall center lines, we're going to add some offset to the wall center line. So, offset the center line towards the finished face, and then make another offset on the wall center line towards the interior side. So, in the end, our floor plan is going to be looking something like this. With this part being the wall center line, and this is just the walls. They're going to be on a separate layer. So once we're done with doing the offset on the wall center lines, we can just hide the wall center lines and get a clean uh, floor plan. Something like that. Pardon me for my favorite drawing. So yeah, it's going to be something like this with wall center line. It is. And the reason why we still need the wall center line is because we're going to draw the grid line. So even though the wall center line is gone or hidden, we're going to draw the grid lines on the wall center lines. This is going to be grid A, B, C, and then this is going to be grid 1, grid 2, and this is going to be grid 3. And once we're done with the grid lines, we're going to draw the dimensions from the wall center line. So there are several approaches to drawing the dimensions. You can draw it from the wall center lines, or we can draw it from the finished face on the exterior wall. So when you are drawing that dimensions, sometimes you probably need to add an annotation just to specify the placement or the measurement of the dimensions. So that's what we're going to do today. And then, of course, we're going to add the room names to our uh, floor plan. Okay. All right. So let's start with the wall center line. Just draw any shape. Just make sure that the footprint is 40 by 30. So on the layers, activate the wall center line. Just select the wall center line. And just start drawing using the line tool. And typically, when you're drawing, or when I'm drawing, I'm going to start from this portion or this point. So this is going to be coordinate 0, 0, just to make it easier for us to do the measurement later. Yes. Now that's a good question. So we're gonna get there. To draw from 0, 0, first activate the line tool, and if you notice on the command bar, it's asking you to specify the first point. Just type 0, 0, enter. That's going to set your starting point for that line at 0, 0. Now, you either make a straight line to the right or to the east, like 30 feet or 40 feet, and of course, you can eyeball it, like just because it will create or it will show you the dimension or the length, but sometimes it can be difficult to get the correct length. So, if you want something that is more precise, after you have set up the first point of that line, just move your mouse like just so that the second point of that line is like horizontal to the right of that first point. Just and then type the dimension that you want. Is either 40 or 30, and don't forget to add the unit. Yes. Yes. Either you can use the rectangle tool or using the line tool. And then if you want to draw it like a vertical line, just move the second point like just directly above the previous point and type 30 feet and continue until you got a rectangle. So this is our footprint. Then it's up to you however you want to set up your room layout. Let's see if there's any requirement for the rooms. Okay, there's no requirement. So you can just add like a living room, a bedroom, and yes, bathroom. Oh, did you say that? Oh, hang on. Oh, this is for part two. So this is for your homework. You're gonna have to develop another floor plan. Um, we're currently working on part one because just the residential building. So there will be two deliverables. First one is gonna be this one that we're working in class today, and the second part is going to be your homework assignment, and you have to develop another floor plan of a different building. Okay, so feel free to develop your own floor plan for this first problem. And if you're done or if you're satisfied with your layout, you can just add the room names in the annotation layer. So just switch to the annotation and use the text tool to just mark up your room names. Yeah. For the layout for that one, we're going to offset these lines later. Let's see. So make sure that you uh, draw the layout first, and then add the annotations or the room tag in the annotations layer. If you accidentally put the room tags within in a different layer, for example, like I have maybe here, maybe a lobby, for example, where I put my room tag here. It says lobby, and it happens to be in the wall center line. You don't have to worry about like redoing this because you can change the layer just by clicking on the room tag or the text that you have placed. And once the text has been selected or the line has been selected, you will be able to see which layer this text belongs to. So if you want to change it, just click on the layer name and put or select the layer that this object actually belongs to. You still have to, if since we drew this or we typed this in the annotations layer, its color will be yellow. If you change it into a different layer, it won't change the color automatically. So you still need to edit the color to match the color of that layer. Okay. Any questions so far? Nope. All right. Now that we have developed our floor plan and put the room tags, we're going to develop the walls based on these wall center lines. So, can anyone help me? What is the typical thickness of exterior wall? 6 inches or 8 inches? 8 inches. Okay, let's put it at 8 inches. So that means when we're doing the offset for our floor plan, we're going to offset the center line 4 inches outside and 4 inches inside. Then we get the 8 inches wall thickness. So that's what we're going to do using the offset function. Make sure that we are on the wall layer and choose the offset button, or you can also type offset on your keyboard. Once we have selected or activated the offset tool, it's going to ask you what is going to be the offset distance. So since we are going to offset it 4 inches each side, we're going to type 4 inches as the offset distance. And then, once we have defined the offset distance, we just need to select which line that we would like to offset. So you can start from any of the wall center lines. I'm going to start from here. And then I can zoom in. And I'm going to offset this wall center line 4 inches on each side. Then I'm going to continue with the next wall center line. And currently these are all still in the same wall center line layer. So we're going to change them later. Okay, it's going to be something like that. I know it's looking a little bit crowded, but don't worry, we can always turn off the layers that we're not going to use. So after we're done with the walls, we can turn off the wall center line layer and see how it's going to look like. All right. What's that noise? All right, so once we're done with the offset, we're going to move these walls to the correct layer. So right now, if you select the exterior side and the interior side, let's see, just make sure that they are on the correct layer. If they're not on the wall center line layer, make sure that you move them to the wall layer. For some reason, my wall center lines are in the wall layer, so I'm going to move the wall center line to the correct layer. Oh, my bad. If you want to change the layer, after you have selected the object, bring up the properties and change the layer here in the properties window. Sorry for the confusion. Change the layer to walls. All right. Now you can see that between the wall and the wall center line, They both have different colors, and you can turn off the wall center line, and you can see how the layout looks like without the wall center line. We're going to continue in 2 minutes. Make sure that you adjust the wall, sorry, the layer for the wall center line and the wall. After this, we're going to draw the grid lines and dimensions for this floor plan. If the layer is inactivated or hidden, there is going to be like a light bulb with some, what is that, scratch there. That means the layer is hidden or uh, non-active. But if you click on this light bulb again, that's going to bring the layer back. Yes. Oh, like this? So here's a few tips. If you want to turn off a layer, say that I want to turn off the wall center line layer, um, you have to select other layer first. So, for example, if I would like to turn off the wall center line, I'm going to select the wall layer as the active layer, and then I will click the wall center line layer. In AutoCAD, you cannot hide an active layer like this one. If I want to turn off the wall layer, and wall layer is the currently active layer, AutoCAD won't let you do that. So it's just going to say you can't turn off the active layer. So you have to select another layer first and then turn off the layer that you actually want to turn off. So that's one thing. And other thing is, again, just a reminder, make sure that the walls are in the correct layer. If you select the wall lines, activate the properties window and check the layer of those wall lines. And make sure that they are on the wall layers instead of the wall center line. Okay. I'm going to turn off the wall center line for now. And we're going to fix the walls or the wall corners because currently there are gaps on the corner and some of the lines are not finished. Just kind of there. So if you want to, this is something that we've learned yesterday, sorry, on Tuesday. If you want to close the gaps, use the fillet tool. So go to the modify tab, choose fillet or fillet, and then select the two lines that you'd like to join. Wonder if we can just fillet this one as well. Oops. And if you want to extend the line, just type extend on the keyboard, and it's going to extend the corner or the interior part of the corner. So if it is like on the outside corner, use the fillet tool. If it is like on the inside of the wall, use the extend tool. So if it's on the corner that's open and you want to join them, you're going to use the fillet tool. If it is the inside on the corner, like there are lines here, you want to join this inside line with the outside part. This is going to be the example. Yes. Just select the wall. And I'll bring up the application again. And if you look at the layers, no, I got the corner of these. Yeah. Offset inside of offset. Okay, so whether you want the inside, like uh, the lines on the inside to be extended or trimmed, it is up to you. Typically, if we have like a masonry construction, uh, this is going to be like a column. But if it is like stick frame or just regular construction in the United States where it is like frame, then you can just trim it. But it's up to you whether you want this to be trimmed or have like a solid line. It's your choice. All right. Whew. Let's move on to the next step. We've drawn the walls. Our next step is to draw the grid lines and put the dimensions. So, since we're going to draw the dimensions and the grid lines from the wall center line, we're going to turn the wall center line layer again and activate the grid lines. Okay. So, with the grid lines activated, now we can draw the lines using the line tool. And before you draw the line, make sure that in the properties window, you change the line type to dash dot and bring the line type scale up to somewhere between 10 and 20. Then you can start drawing the grid line. Oof, it's too dark, cannot see it. So I might want to change the color to something else. Maybe red, that's readable. Or maybe magenta. Okay, that's better. So draw the grid lines based on the wall center lines that you've placed. And make sure that the grid lines have the same length. AutoCAD, while it is not as sophisticated as Revit, it still allows you to snap the length of the of a line based on uh, another line that's parallel to it. Or if you want to make it easier without having to draw the grid lines one by one, you can just draw one grid line and then use the copy function. So select or type, first select the grid line, then type copy on your keyboard, hit enter, and select the base point for the copy. So personally, I'm just going to set the base point to the corner of the wall center line. Then I can just move it to wherever I want. If you feel like the grid lines are too small, you can always increase the line type scale. So maybe to 20 or 30. Then you can turn off the wall center line. So the deliverable for this assignment is going to be, let's see. Oh, we already have the grid lines. Uh, you have to submit both the DWG file and the PDF file for this floor plan. Inside or in the drawing file or the PDF file, you have to make sure that you include the tile block. So after we're done with the grid lines and the dimension line, we're going to load a title block and place this uh, floor plan inside the tile block. So I don't. There's if you want to draw the doors or windows, you can manually draw them using the line tool. So make sure that you're on the doors layer when you draw the door or window, or you can use the uh, Revit blocks. Sorry, not Revit blocks, AutoCAD blocks, and put those blocks inside this floor plan. So you probably won't have time to deal with blocks today. So if you want to use blocks, you can um, go ahead and try looking online, or if you want, you can also meet me during the my office hours. Because essentially, blocks are just another uh, AutoCAD file that you are bringing into your own project. So let's say that you develop like the drawing for the couch or the bed or the shower in a separate AutoCAD file, and you want to bring those objects inside this floor plan. So in order to bring those objects, like the uh, object like the shower or the bed, you're going to load those drawing files as a block file. And once you've loaded those block files inside your main project, you can reuse that block file um, however you want. Like you can multiply that, you can reuse that depending on how many rooms you got. Uh, and you don't have to manually draw it inside your main project. You can just click and drag those objects into your floor plan. So if you want to like do an independent study on that, feel free to try that. There is no requirement to put furniture, but feel free to try playing around with the block function if you want to look for the furniture. So this is the blocks function on your toolbar. And if you want to like load for any object, you can select browse for blocks. All right. Now that we're done with the grid lines, we're going to add the labels for the grid lines. We only have the lines, but they really don't do anything yet because we're going to have to put the labels on the grid lines so we can put a reference to them. So in order to draw the grid line labels, typically the grid line labels are drawn with a circle and a text inside. So make sure that we are on the grid lines layer and draw the circle object. And then since the grid lines line type is dash dot, we might want to use a different line type for the grid line label. So just draw the grid line bubble so that it is visible enough, not too big, not too small. Then once you've drawn the bubble, put the text inside and just type the grid line name inside that bubble. So that's a grid line label, which comprised of two objects. First, the circle object, and the second is the text object. And once you're done with one label, select the label, including the circle and the text, and use the copy function, which is this one. Or you can also type copy on your keyboard. Then you can put the labels on the next grid lines. And then you can type, and then you can just change the label number once you have multiplied or place all the label for the grid lines. And repeat the process for the horizontal one. Then rename the labels. So if it is if the vertical grid lines use numeric values, the horizontal one I'm going to use alphabetic values. Yes. So to copy the labels, first select the objects. So do a window selection. So just click somewhere outside the workspace from the lower right corner, and then it's going to create a window selection area. Don't click and drag, just do a one-time click and make sure that the label circle and the text are selected, and then do another click. That's going to select both the circle and the text. After these two are selected, on the modify selection tool, select the copy tool. Then you can select the base point for the copy, and then just put the copy on a different grid line. Then you can double click on the text and rename the grid line label. Don't forget to save. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Let's see this one. Yeah, turns out we didn't do that. So we have to figure this. All right. Now to place the dimensions, uh, this is going to be our last task today before we put this floor plan in the private block. You just go to the annotate group, click on the dimension tool, and then you can just uh, hmm, wait, why is it not? Oh, sorry. Instead of selecting the dimension, type dim linear on your keyboard, hit enter, and then just select the grid lines to get the length or the dimension of that line. So make sure that for the dimensions, you're in the annotation layer. So type dim linear, hit enter, and this is recorded, so you can refer to the recording later. Make sure that I'm on the annotation layer. And just draw the dimension based on the grid lines that you've placed. And now save. So the dimension tools can be tricky because sometimes it won't align with the grid lines. So um, this is where you'll need to use your feeling. Just make sure that that the dimensions are drawn correctly. You can guesstimate that, or if you're quite savvy, you can play around with the snap function. So using the snap function, you can have AutoCAD to automatically align or snap your lines to uh, the closest line or the closest object to it. There are multiple functions, so if you want to explore that, I'm going to let you do that later. Uh, but for now, just you can just guesstimate or just use eyeball the placement of the dimension. There's the thing with AutoCAD. There's a lot of eyeballing, and it won't snap the way that you want. All right. Now, we've got 5 minutes left, so we're going to use the remaining time to set up our time block. I have uploaded a title block in the instruction. So if you scroll down and inside in the under the deliverable section, you're expected to apply the LCD title block. So you can download it. This is just a regular drawing or regular AutoCAD drawing. If you want to bring this into your project in the AutoCAD web, what you need to do is go to the main menu of the AutoCAD, upload that drawing or AutoCAD drawing for the title block to bring it into your project. Then you can open it, and this is what the title block is going to look like. And it's going to ask you your name and your student number. So you can't just edit this student name and student number, a label, just like in probably Revit later. And if you want to edit the information here, once you have selected this portion of the tile block, you will be able to change or update the student number with your actual student number and your actual name. So this is going to be a separate AutoCAD file that you can modify. Then you can save it. So this is going to update the tile block to match with your name and your student number. Don't worry about the team number and the team name. Just the student, your name and your student number. Update it, save it, and back to the file selection and open your project again. After that, in order to add the title block into your project, you're going to use the block function. And then at the lower part of your screen, there is the model section and layout 1 and layout 2. So since we are going to use the title block for like printing this into PDF or on paper, instead of having the model view activated, activate the layout 1 view. So this is going to bring or change your work area to actually the floating screen or the spinning screen. Then once we are in the layout 1 view, select make sure that you have the blocks selected. Choose browse for blocks and select the title block that you've loaded into your project. Into your account. And once you have loaded the tile block, you'll be able to place it in the layout view. So just eyeball the placement of the tile block. Just like that. You'll see that the tile block is going to be bigger than your actual layout. But don't worry about that. After we have placed this tile block, we can edit this layout area. So we're almost there. Sorry that we are a bit over time. But the next step, once we have loaded this tile block, is to change the layout properties. So we're going to change the size of this layout to match the size of the tile block. So to do that, bring up the properties window while you're on this layout one and look at the layout properties. Currently, the paper size is letter, but you can change it to ANSI or ANSI-D. So that's going to update your layout to match the size of your tile block. And then once the tile block once you have matched the layout with the tile block, select this viewport or this view area, and you'll see those four handles or four rectangles, and you can just match this handles with the insides of the tile block. And you can activate this viewport or this window and just adjust the size to match the tile block. Yes. Yeah, after you get the grid the size, double click inside the grid. It's going to activate the grid, and you can adjust the view. And once you're done, just double click outside. Yes. Yeah. So to pull up the layout properties, just don't select anything in the layout view. And then on the left, there's a sidebar. Open the properties. At the bottom, there's the layout properties. So that's it. If you want to download this file into drawing, uh, actually let's just plot it to PDF. So if you want to print this into PDF, click on the printer's icon on the top right corner. And then it's going to ask you where you want to save it, or if you want to save it into your account as well. Hit plot. And then it's going to generate the file. And then you can download it as a PDF file. All right. Next, if you want to download the drawing, So if you can see here, it's the grid lines are not going to be visible. So if your grid lines look funky, that's fine. Now, if you want to download the DWG file in your main menu, just put a check mark on your project and hit the download button. Then that's going to download the DWG file. So if you have any question of the video soon, but if you're done, feel free to continue working or move on to the next class. So in and then there is very good. This is the file. Yeah. So this is how you're going to edit file. It's going to be main. Now, what we need to do is like this. Activate the file up there.